If you're hearing this morning, it's exactly when you needed it. Not by accident, not by coincidence, not because you happened to scroll at just the right moment or stumbled upon these words by chance. You're here because something inside you woke up before your body did. Something in your spirit recognized that today needed to begin differently than other days. Your heart knew, even if your mind hasn't caught up yet, that you needed to pause before the weight of the hours begins to settle on your shoulders. The morning is still tender. The light is soft. The world around you hasn't demanded anything yet. Listen to that silence. That's not emptiness. That's a sacred space being held open for you. That's the world taking a breath and waiting for you to remember that you don't have to carry everything alone. I wonder what you woke up feeling this morning. Maybe there's a heaviness in your chest that you can't quite name. Maybe there's anxiety that started before your eyes even opened. That familiar companion that greets you these days, whispering about all the things that could go wrong, all the ways you might fail, all the spaces where you're not enough. Maybe you've been carrying something for so long now that you've almost forgotten what it feels like to move through a day without that weight pressed against your back. Your shoulders might be tight, your breath might be shallow, your mind might already be spinning through the list of demands waiting for you, the messages you need to answer, the people counting on you, the standards you're trying to meet, the spaces where you feel like you're constantly coming up short. There might be regrets from yesterday still clinging to you like fog that hasn't burned away. Mistakes you made, words you wish you could take back, moments where you weren't the person you wanted to be. And maybe that's why you're here now, in this quiet moment before the day truly begins. Because somewhere inside, you know that you can't do this alone anymore. You know that you need more than your own strength to carry you through what's coming. You know that something has to shift, has to settle, has to remind you of a truth that you've somehow forgotten in the noise and rush and endless striving. I want you to know that your heart was right to bring you here. There is a particular kind of tenderness in the early morning, the kind that only exists when most of the world is still sleeping, when the day hasn't yet worn you down, when you still have the chance to choose what kind of day this will be. This is the moment when you're most honest with yourself. This is when your defenses are softest. This is when you can feel, without apology, everything you've been holding back. And you can feel it all here. You can bring all of it. The tiredness, the doubt, the fear, the exhaustion that no amount of sleep seems to fully remedy. You can bring the parts of yourself that you normally hide away, that you save for 3 a.m. when no one else can see. You can be completely, utterly honest in this moment, and there's nothing here to judge you for it. Because the truth that I'm sensing this morning, the truth that I believe your spirit already knows, is that you have been reaching for strength in the wrong places. You've been looking outward for validation that can only come from within. You've been trying to prove your worth to people who may never have the capacity to truly see you. You've been running on a kind of fuel that was never designed to sustain you. A fuel made of fear and obligation and the desperate need to be everything for everyone. And that fuel is running dry. But here's what I want to whisper to you in this soft morning light. That emptiness you're feeling isn't a sign of weakness. It's not a sign that you've failed. It's not a sign that you should try harder or push yourself further or dig deeper into reserves that are already depleted. That emptiness is actually a sign of something else entirely. It's a sign that you're finally ready to be filled with something real, something true, something that doesn't depend on your performance or your productivity or the approval of anyone else. This morning arrives with a particular grace for people who are at the end of their own strength. It arrives like a gentle hand on your shoulder in the darkness, whispering that it's okay to stop fighting now. It's okay to set down the weight you've been carrying. It's okay to admit that you can't do this alone, that you were never meant to. Some moments find us exactly when we need them, and this is one of those moments. This is one of those rare occasions when the universe, or God, or whatever name you give to the force that loves you and holds you and believes in you, reaches out and says, I see you, I know what you're carrying, and I'm here. You didn't stumble here by accident. Your heart led you here because it knows something your exhausted mind has forgotten, that you are allowed to rest, you are allowed to receive, you are allowed to be held without earning it. You are allowed to simply exist in all your imperfection and incompleteness, and still be worthy of love and care and attention. The day is going to demand things from you. It always does. There will be moments that require your presence and your strength and your focus. But before any of that happens, before you step into the current of the hours ahead, I want you to know that you are not abandoned. You have not been forgotten. You are not as alone as you sometimes feel. Think about those moments when you've been so tired that everything feels impossible. When the simplest tasks feel like they require all of your energy. When just showing up feels like an act of tremendous courage. In those moments, have you ever felt something shift? Have you ever experienced a moment of grace? Something unexpected? Something gentle? Something that reminded you that you were going to be okay? That's what this is. This is that moment. This is grace arriving exactly when you need it most. I'm holding space for all the ways you feel like you're not enough. All the ways you're convinced that you're falling short. All the parts of yourself that you believe are broken or wrong or somehow insufficient. I'm sitting with you in that feeling, and I'm telling you that it doesn't have to be true. You don't have to earn your place in this world. You don't have to prove your value. You don't have to be anything other than what you already are. Your presence matters. Your heart matters. Your life matters. Not because of what you accomplish or achieve or provide, but simply because you exist. Simply because you're here. Simply because your soul came into this world with something to offer that no one else can offer in quite the same way. Listen to your breath for a moment. Feel it moving in and out of your body. That rhythm that you don't have to think about, that keeps you alive without your effort or your control. That's what it feels like to be held. That's what it feels like to be sustained by something larger than yourself. Your breath is a prayer. Your presence is a prayer. Your willingness to keep going, even when it feels impossible, is a prayer. And somehow, in this morning moment, I want you to know that those prayers are being heard. The light that's growing in the sky right now, soft and golden and full of possibility, that light is for you. It's not accident that it arrives after every night. It's not accident that darkness never lasts forever. It's not accident that mornings keep coming, over and over again, offering you new chances to begin, new opportunities to be gentler with yourself, new possibilities for peace. Your ancestors knew something about morning that maybe you've forgotten. They understood that the dawn is sacred. They understood that the space between night and day is thin enough that the divine can slip through and touch your heart. They understood that if you could just hold still for a moment in that tender light, you might remember who you really are underneath all the noise and the demands and the desperate striving. You really are more than your achievements. You really are more than your productivity. You really are more than what you can do for other people. You really are more than the mistakes you've made, or the ways you've fallen short, or the moments when you weren't who you wanted to be. There is something in you that is completely separate from all of that. Something eternal, something unbreakable, something that was loved into existence and will be loved forever, regardless of what happens in any single day. I'm thinking about all the people who are hearing this right now and feeling what you're feeling. I'm thinking about how many hearts are heavy this morning, how many minds are anxious, how many people woke up wondering if they have what it takes to get through another day. And I want you to know that you're not the only one. Your struggle is not unique and isolated and proof of your inadequacy. Your struggle is part of the human experience. Your tiredness is something that billions of people understand. Your doubt is something that nearly everyone has felt at some point. And in that shared experience, there is something sacred. There is something that connects us to each other and to something larger than all of us. We are all in this together. We are all carrying things that feel too heavy to carry. We are all doing the best we can with what we have. We are all worthy of compassion, starting with self-compassion, starting with the gentle understanding that we are allowed to be imperfect. Maybe you've been waiting for permission to slow down. Maybe you've been waiting for someone to tell you that it's okay to rest. Maybe you've been waiting for a sign that you're going to be all right. Let this be that sign. Let this moment be that permission. Let this quiet hour before the day begins be the space where you finally allow yourself to believe that you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to have already figured everything out. You just have to show up. You just have to take one breath and then another one. You just have to move through this day with as much compassion as you can muster, especially for yourself. You just have to keep going, even when it feels like you're running on empty. And somehow, miraculously, you will find that there is always enough. Always. There is always enough strength for this hour. There is always enough grace for this moment. There is always enough love to sustain you. The wind outside is still. The world is still. Everything in nature is moving at the pace that it's meant to move. The trees are not anxious about whether they're growing quickly enough. The flowers are not afraid that they're not blooming in the right way. The grass is not worried about being enough. Everything in nature simply is what it is, exactly as it should be, in perfect timing and perfect form. And you, too, are part of nature. You, too, are moving through time and space in exactly the way that you're meant to move. Maybe you've forgotten that. Maybe somewhere along the way, you started believing that you needed to move faster, be more, do more, achieve more in order to be worthy of love. Maybe you started believing that your value was determined by external measures, your productivity, your appearance, your accomplishments, your ability to meet the endless expectations of a world that is never quite satisfied. But that's not where your true worth lives. That's not where your real power comes from. Your worth is inherent. It lives in the fact that you exist. It lives in the capacity of your heart to feel deeply and care fiercely, and love in the face of a world that often seems unlovable. It lives in your willingness to keep trying, even after you've been knocked down. It lives in the tender way that you can acknowledge your own pain and still find compassion for others who are suffering. This is real strength. This is what actually matters. So as this morning settles around you, I want to invite you into a different way of being with yourself. I want to invite you to lay down the constant striving, just for today. I want to invite you to forgive yourself for not being perfect, not yet anyway, and maybe not ever. I want to invite you to trust that somehow, beyond your understanding, everything is unfolding exactly as it's meant to unfold. Not because you're controlling it or forcing it or managing it perfectly, but because there is a force in this universe. Call it God, call it the divine, call it love, that cares for you far more deeply than you care for yourself. And that force is working for you, not against you. Your struggles are not punishments. Your challenges are not proof that you've done something wrong. Your difficulties are simply part of the human journey, and you are being held through all of it. You are being sustained through all of it. You are being loved through all of it, even in the moments when you can't feel that love, even in the times when you feel completely abandoned. There is help. There is always help. It comes in quiet moments like this. It comes in the voice of someone who understands. It comes in unexpected kindnesses from strangers. It comes in the discovery that you're somehow stronger than you realized. It comes in the realization that you've already survived everything you've been afraid of, and you're still here, still trying, still reaching for light. You are remarkable, not because of what you've accomplished, not because of how you look or what you own or who you know. You're remarkable simply because you keep going, you keep waking up, you keep choosing, despite everything, to try again. You keep opening your heart even after it's been broken. You keep believing in possibility even when circumstances suggest that hopelessness would be more realistic. That is remarkable. That is the real definition of courage. And I want you to carry that knowledge with you as you move into this day. I want you to remember that you are not the person you fear you are. You are not as broken or lost or inadequate as your anxious mind tells you that you are. You are exactly who you need to be for this moment in your life. You are exactly where you need to be, and you are not alone. This morning is a gift. This quiet hour before the world wakes up and demands your attention. This is a sacred interval that's been given to you. Use it to rest. Use it to breathe. Use it to remember that you matter. Use it to let go of yesterday and all the ways that yesterday tried to define you. Use it to remember that each new day brings new mercies, new chances, new opportunities to be gentler with yourself and more present with the people you love. You are going to get through today. You might not feel like it right now, but I promise you that you will. You will find the strength. You will find the grace. You will find a way to keep going, because you always do. Because that's who you are. Someone who survives. Someone who persists. Someone who, despite everything, keeps choosing love and hope and possibility. And if there are moments later today when you forget all of this, when the pressure builds and the anxiety returns and the weight feels too heavy again, I want you to remember this morning. I want you to remember this quiet moment when you were reminded that you are worthy, that you are loved, that you are not alone. If you're hearing this morning, it's because your heart needed this message. It's because somewhere inside you, you already knew that you needed permission to be yourself. You needed to hear that it's okay to rest. You needed to remember that you matter. You needed to know that there is something holding you, sustaining you, loving you through this journey. And now you know. Now you've been reminded. Now you can move into this day with a little more peace, a little more trust, a little more faith that you're going to be okay. Because you are. You really are. Your heart is going to keep beating. Your lungs are going to keep breathing. The light is going to keep rising. And you are going to keep going, moment by moment, breath by breath, discovering again and again that you are stronger and braver and more capable of love than you ever imagined. That is the real truth. That is what this morning is here to tell you. That is the message that your soul has been waiting to hear. Welcome to this day. Beloved, welcome to this moment. You are exactly where you need to be, and you are going to be more than okay. You are going to be held. You are going to be guided. You are going to be loved through every single hour. And if you're hearing this morning, it's because it's exactly when you needed it.